Hello and welcome to the Holiday Romance Track here at Continual. I'm your host, Gail Z. Martin and Morgan Bryce. And tonight we're going to be talking more about those wonderful holiday stories that just warm the cockles of our heart and bring us back year after year to loving those holiday stories. And to get us started, I'd like to go around and have all my panelists introduce themselves. Christy, tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Christy Barth. I'm a USA Today bestselling author of, I will say 35 books because I just finished 35 and started 36, so I'm super excited. I have written 4 Christmas books and just started the 5th one. And this year's big, exciting Christmas book, oh, it's a little shadowy, The Magic of Christmas. It's got snow, it's got banter, it's got office rivals fighting who can't possibly, oh wait, maybe they'll fall in love. What do you know?
Cynthia.
I am Cynthia D'Alba, and I had a great plan for this year. I was writing a book for this winter, and then Mother broke her hip, and that sort of like went out the door. But I have one that I came out. It's Christmas in His Arms, and it came out. It's part of the Dallas Debutante series, and in December. Starting December 1, this book is on digital for 99 cents for the month of December to celebrate Christmas. So I didn't get this new one out. This one came out last year. It didn't get my new one out. It'll be ready for next year. And then my next release will be in March, part of the Hot Seal series.
Awesome. Michele?
Hi, I'm Michele Major, and I write sweet and sexy contemporary romance for Harlequin. I love writing holiday books, and I actually have 2 Christmas books out this year. The first is The Merriest Magnolia with HQN, and I will mention that this one released in October, but is going on sale for most of December, so check that out. And then next week, His Last Chance Christmas Family, which is a Harlequin special edition, comes out. I really love second chances in holiday romance, so you might find some of those in there.
Great. Kat? Kat?
Hi, I'm Kat Johnson. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm Kat Johnson. I stopped counting how many books I wrote at 75, so I think I'm up at about 80. There's quite a few holiday ones, but I guess it makes much more sense to just focus on the one that I just released very recently. It came out Thanksgiving week. It's in my Mudville series, which is a small town series based on the small town that I actually moved to. It's Mr. Naughty, so that's brand new. And I also wrote this year too. There's another holiday romance, Undercover Santa, which is set in the same world as the Mudville series. Every year I got jealous of other people writing Christmas books, and the years that I didn't have one out, I was like, I gotta do one. So this year I ended up actually doing 2. So I'm excited that those are out there for people, and I can't wait.
Very nice. Jeannie?
Hi, everybody. I'm Jeannie Moon. I write contemporary romance for Thule Publishing, and I have a new book out. It came out at the end of October. It's called Christmas in Angel Harbor, and it's a sweet romance. It's a seasoned romance. Both of my characters are 50, and it's set in Angel Harbor. It was inspired by a town near where I live, Long Island. So I love holiday romances. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. And I was really happy I was able to do this one this year, and that it was a season romance. So that was fun.
And Ellie?
Hi, I'm Elle James. I'm a New York Times USA Today bestselling author. I've written, I think I last count 180 books, and still going. And as far as Christmas stories, this year I settled for a novella that I entered into the Dog Tags Anthology, which is a charity anthology for the canines for our soldiers. And so all the money that's being raised for that will go toward getting dogs for our guys. And the book will also come out on its own as a novella after that story comes, or that anthology comes down, and it's called The Dog Days of Christmas, and it revisits a couple of characters from my Brotherhood Protector series, which has been very popular. and Cujo, Molly, and his dog Six. Cujo and Molly are trying to get pregnant, having no luck whatsoever, and Six disappears. So they come to find out, what really is important about Christmas. And it will come out, and I don't have a cover yet in print, but and I'm trying not to get the glare, but that's what it looks like. And if you can look close, there is another dog in that picture. I don't think you can see it though. But I'm looking forward to that coming out the week of the 15th of December after Dog Tags comes down. So that's what
Are you a big Stephen King fan?
Yeah, Cujo. Cujo's, the character is Joseph Kuntz. When you're in the military, you're usually, Kuntz Joe. So it's Cujo. So he got Cujo.
And I'm Gail Z. Martin and Morgan Bryce. As Gail, I write epic fantasy, urban fantasy, and near future post-apocalyptic. Not a lot of Christmas stuff there, but as Morgan Bryce, I write urban fantasy, male paranormal romance, and I've written 2 books that are particularly Christmas: Lucky Town in the Badlands series and Dark Rivers in the Witchbane series. And then coming out in January, a little bit late for Christmas, I'll have a short story in a multi-author giveaway on Prolific Works. It's an original story set in the Kings of the Mountain series, and that's The Christmas Spirit. So we have all established now that we absolutely love writing Christmas stories. What is it about Christmas stories that make us write them over and over again? And I'm going to go kind of in reverse order and start with Elle.
Gee, thanks. For one, I love Christmas no matter what. Just writing Christmas stories is just helping to bring out that Christmas spirit, that Christmas feeling. My Christmas tree was up right around Halloween, and, and you can't see it, but it's behind me. And there's something about Christmas. It can be very sad. It can be heartwarming. All the feels come out in Christmas time, and I love that about Christmas.
Jeannie.
I think it's just the sense of hope that they bring, that you always have that opportunity to feel hopeful, to feel like something new is coming, that there's a sense of coming together and a sense of community. It could be a small town, it could be an office, it could be a school, whatever it is. For me, it's all about coming together, a sense of community, and sharing the hope of the season. And that's what I love about them so much.
Great. Kat?
I think it's the shared experience that that everybody else is doing the same thing you are. Probably watching a Christmas movie on television and probably worrying about, what you have to do and who you have to get for. But I also live in the Northeast in New York State. So we get the full Currier and Ives experience, the small town, the snow, I occasionally see a horse and carriage going down that street in front of my house. So I think it's just like you can pretend you've stepped back in time and it's still the same, even though we're, obviously in 2020, it's still, there's a charm that just takes you away and back to other times.
Michele.
Well, I think I'm going to echo what Jeannie said about the hope, and I think there's a magic in the season, but also if you are putting your characters through the emotional ringer, I think all emotions are heightened around the Christmas season. So that's a really, really good way to do it. Plus, as Kat said with the Currier and Ives, there's so many settings and traditions that we all know that we can plug for romance writers, our heroes and heroines and heroes, or however we write it in there, and do a lot of really cute setups that again speak to the emotion of the season, which I love.
Mm-hmm. Cynthia.
When we were all kids, that anticipation for Christmas was like everything, and it would just build and build and build, and it was just so much happiness and joy on Christmas mornings. And I think that for a lot of us, it's still that anticipation of Christmas is so fun. And into Elle's All the Feels. It's a generally peaceful period, hopefully, and it is a holiday that's built around family and love. And since we all write romance in some form or fashion, family and love is the basis behind so many of our books, that Christmas is just an ideal setting. It was like made for romance. And the Currier and Ives, the snow, the fir trees, the twinkling lights, the hot chocolate, all of it evokes within us memories that make us feel good. And I think that that is why people are so drawn to Christmas, is because it is we have so many good memories, and there's so many things, smells and tastes, that stimulate those good memories from growing up. And that's the reason why I think it's such a perfect holiday for romance.
Christy.
I have the opposite answer. I loved yours, but and I'm not trying to play the world's smallest violin. I had a perfectly healthy childhood, but I was an only child, and I grew up in Southern California, and all I wanted was a big family and snow. And so every year, Christmas, I got to fall into Christmas movies and see the fantasy that I wanted and could never have. And it made me so happy to picture all of that and feel like I could be transported to my fantasy. And then I was a singer and performer for many years. And so, we would do, when I was in high school, we'd do 21 performances in 2 weeks with my madrigal group. And the music just, it kind of baked it into you. And then when I was a professional performer, for 4 years, I did the Nativity show as the Virgin Mary. And the way that it would transform people in an hour watching us put this show on, to watch their worries fall away and listen to Christmas music and just get out of their lives and get in the spirit of the season. It was transformative, and I love every bit of that.
And I would agree completely. Some people have the Currier and Ives Hallmark movie kind of growing up, and that's wonderful, and a lot of people don't. And for those who didn't, it's a fantasy of how they would want their family or their found family to be, or how it might be someday. And I think we all buy into that fantasy, because it's, everybody is at their best, and everybody is trying to do their best, and you get all the pretty lights, and it's just it's almost a moment outside of regular time when things work differently, and that's magical. And it's a perfect time to fall in love and fantasize about the way you'd really love it to be. So let's talk about some of those tropes. Now, a couple people mentioned, more mature lovers. I've got to mention there of some military. What are some of your favorite tropes to bring to the holiday story? I'm going to start with Jeannie now in the middle, at least on my screen.
I love the second chance romance. So when Michele said she had second chance romance, I was like, yes, I'm all for that. And that's what I wrote in this particular book. These were characters that knew each other when they were younger. And I think a lot of times we're dealing with a shortened time frame with Christmas romances. So because of that, you don't want insta love necessarily, but if the characters have a previous relationship, that allows you to work with that shortened time frame. So that's the technical piece of it. But I also love that idea that there's redemption, that there's another chance, that there's always hope to move forward. And that the thing that you think you lost, maybe you really didn't. And Christmas is the perfect time to find that.
Michele.
So just like Jeannie, I do love the second chance. I'm actually writing now my Christmas book that will come out next year. And I have sort of a couple tropes in there, the enemies to lovers and the fake relationship, which I think is really fun around Christmas. And they've done this relationship of convenience to get both of their families off their backs for the holidays. But then again, you've got so many cute, sentimental moments that it's hard to resist falling in love.
Cynthia.
You know, Michelle, when you were talking, I was thinking about the one that I didn't get done for this year. And it was supposed to be Reunited Lovers, Second Chance, this sort of thing. But as I'm writing it, she's there. They're at a ski trip because for me, Christmas is snow. And I grew up in Arkansas, didn't have snow. We didn't. Mary grew up. Elle grew up very close to me, and she can tell you we didn't have snow much at Christmas. It would, but for me, that when I write, I want snow, and so I've got them on a snow vacation, ski vacation, right before Christmas, and she's got a date with a friend who's younger than her. And her old lover has come and brought his date. And my original thought was, oh, I'll get them back together, except that her date is just charming. He's, you know, he's so much younger than she is, but they grew up being friends. And I think it's going to turn out a different twist than and you all understand this. My characters are taking over. And I think that my hero, which there's nothing wrong with the ex-boyfriend, but it's not going to turn out the way I planned. It's not going to be a reunited lover story. It's going to be childhood friends who discovered that there's more there than just their friendship, and they're going to give it a shot. So that's why I went with this year's story. But I do love this one is Reunited Lovers, high school lovers, and so I do love the reunited second chance stuff. And that's for me. And I agree with the shortened time period, and you already knowing them makes it easier. So,
Christy.
It's not just the super short time period. All of the ones I write are novellas or short contemporaries. So I feel like you have to start with friends to lovers almost, aside from my enemies to lovers that I just put out. 3 of mine are friends to lovers because the very first one I wrote, I literally called a friend of mine from the car and said, Harlequin wants me to do a novella in addition to my series. I don't even know how to write that short, let alone get people to fall in love. And she said, well, they have to know each other first. And that will go down as one of the most obvious and best pieces of writing advice I ever received, which is a little ridiculous, but it worked out. So I think you have to lean on things that will work easily, which is number 1, they know each other. But number 2, I mean, you think when I put myself in those shoes, getting dressed up for a party and something sparkly, and suddenly there's candlelight and champagne because I love champagne or eggnog. Let's not start that debate. I know it's very contentious. I'm sorry I mentioned it. Your holiday drink of choice. But you just imagine, you know, being 25 again and standing there at a party dressed up and catching the eye of someone you always kind of wanted but couldn't do anything about. You can almost feel the whole world drop away and hear the background music and know that it's going to be something magical with or without mistletoe overhead. And I think I keep wanting to put those moments in my books. Maybe it's because I want to relive them, but I think they're truly special. I mean, a regular date in summer is awesome. Beach, sunset, all great, but there's just something about the dressing up and all the accoutrement of Christmas that make it great.
Kat.
So this year, I've really only been reading, and I realize I've only written romantic comedy. And I think one of my favorite tropes in the romantic comedy realm are opposites attract. And Christmas is the perfect time to have the Grinchy person who is forced to be with the merry, happy, loves everything about Christmas person. And they somehow end up together, and, you know, they end up, the happy, merry person ends up kind of infecting the Grinchy person so that they have to appreciate the magic of Christmas too. So I really, really love that. And of course, I do love the second chances too. Who doesn't?
Elle. You're muted.
It's like with A Wonderful Life, where it's also a time to reflect on the past and to know why you are where you are and how important that is. And my story this year is a continuation. It's an epilogue, more or less, of some characters that were in a previous story. And it takes them that one step further of, now they're starting to try for family, but they're trying so hard to start a family, they're forgetting what's important about everything, love and community and the dog, their dog who's very special to them as well. And yeah, so it's a time to reflect on the past and to apply it to how you are and now, and to appreciate what you have. So I like that part of it.
I love what all of you have said, because I love second chances and friends to lovers and all of those things. I'm going to throw in not only fake boyfriend, but I love the forced proximity where, they're snowed in a cabin, they're snowed in at the ski lodge, whatever it is. I love that we're just going to have to deal with this together. And I'm huge on friends to lovers, but I've also read a number of single dad stories as well, meeting, a new partner around the holidays that works out when you never thought you'd find love again. And that's kind of a special niche of second chance in a way. So yeah, there's something out there for everybody for the holidays. I think that's one of the best things about holiday romance. So looking at yourself as a reader, are there any books, and these can be romances, these can be just seasonal books, they can be books you grew up with. What are the books you have to come back and read every year, or the books that just stand out in your memory when you think holiday books, your favorite holiday books? Michele?
Okay, I'm so bad with titles of books. I can tell you characters' names in books, but titles of books. But the funny thing was when you said your favorite book's not even romance, and I don't necessarily consider Little Women a holiday book, except there are some holiday scenes. And for me, that is an ultimate comfort read. I mean, I've, probably read it a dozen times. And I think when the most recent version of the movie came out, maybe last Christmas, which was amazing. I reread it, and it's just a book that holds up wonderfully. And then again, I'm not sure if it falls into the holiday category, but it's a winter book, and it's historical romance is my very favorite thing to read, although I write contemporary. And Lisa Kleypas' The Devil in Winter is just like, again, I've reread it this year because I think with a lot of things going on, I've just wanted that comfort of settling back in with some characters that I already love. So those are my choices.
Cynthia? Can't hear you.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, my husband was talking to me. I read a lot of Christmas books at Christmas, but I can't tell you that I reread a book. I can't think of one off the top of my head that I reread. I devour them. I'm a little bit like Michele, and I couldn't tell you a title. I just can't. But more than anything, I just have lasting impressions of books that I read. And when it was all over, I just had this. Have any of y'all seen the ad where the woman is making Rice Krispie treats, and at the end she sprinkles her face with powder and water, and she acts like she's really been hard at work, but she's reading a romance book, and at the end she shuts it and just goes, "Oh, that was so good." That's how I feel about most of the Christmas books I read. I just shut them and just and enjoy them while I'm there. But I don't really do a lot of rereads now. As far as movies and stuff, Elle brought up. It's a Wonderful Life. Not one of my favorites, but I tell you, I really do watch Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation, and we sit there and howl every single year at that crazy movie. And I don't know why it's so funny. I can just about do all the lines, but we still sit there and laugh at that movie.
Well,
So
that squirrel man coming out of the tree.
oh my God, that's hysterical. No, I like the one where this is really cruel, but where the cat's chewing on the cord and oh God. And
We had to rub all the cords in the house down with Tabasco sauce because the cat would chew on them. So I could identify having rubbed every single freaking cord in the house with Tabasco sauce. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Christy.
can't help you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh,
Christy,
sorry.
tell us a good book.
We'll,
Well,
we'll come back to TV and movies specials in a minute, but let's think about books. And like I said, they can be romance or not.
good, because mine's not.
Oh,
Go ahead, Christy.
I don't read Christmas romance actually. It's
Huh.
lovely, but I'm a speed reader, so I can't wait for December to come and suddenly read 20 books. I got to read all year long. My big one is by David Sedaris. I don't know if you guys know him from NPR or his prolific career as an author, but he's a humorist and he's freaking hilarious. And I first became aware of him in Chicago when we saw a show called The Santaland Diaries, and it's his retelling of what an elf helper goes through at Macy's during the Christmas season at Santa's picture North Pole place. And it is, that's why I asked you how much swearing I could use, because there's a lot of it by that little elf. He is
Oh my gosh.
not happy. But he put the Santaland Diaries and 6 other Christmas essays in this book, Holidays on Ice, and it is absolutely fantastic. And we pull it out every year. And, just like you said, every year I read it and I laugh, even though I know what's coming up now, because it's a short essay and it makes me laugh every time anyway. Highly recommend everybody checking it out.
And Jeannie.
Well, I do remember titles. I'm a librarian, so it's kind of an occupational hazard for me. One of my favorite nonfiction books is called The Autobiography of Santa Claus, and it's a combination of fiction. It's a fictional retelling with a historical, with true historical facts about St. Nicholas and all the way up. And I read that book every year, and I can't remember the author's name, so I failed you there. Probably one of my all-time favorite Christmas books is Silver Bells by Luanne Rice. I've been a Luanne Rice fan forever. I feel like whenever her writing is such that I feel like she's almost whispering the story to me. That's how strong her voice is. It's just like she's telling it to me in my ear. And this particular book is set in New York City around Christmas, and I live about an hour east of New York City. And I've been in and I've experienced Rockefeller Center, and so it feels like home. And I love the story. And it's funny because one of my favorites, my Ray Ann Thane favorites, is this one. It's Evergreen Springs, and I just reread them because they're just wonderful and comfortable, and they make me happy. I like the idealism that I find in these Christmas books. I love Sarah Morgan's series. She does wonderful Christmas books. Her latest is just amazing. I can't even. I think it's called One More for Christmas, and it's beautiful.
But she has in her pre-women's fiction days, in her New York series, she has a Christmas one.
Oh yeah,
She does. I read a lot of her too. She's good.
Book, that Christmas book. It was. It's wonderful. It's probably one of my favorites in that series.
It's great.
Kat.
Well, I'm a hoarder of books. So every single time I see one of those anthologies with like 12 people who released a Christmas book together in an anthology, I bought it. I buy them all. And I read them all. And of course, I'm not going to remember any titles because there's like literally 12. And I have probably 12 of these anthologies waiting for me because I just came off a tight deadline. So I've been saving them up, but I'm going to read them now. I do remember the name of one of those anthologies because it was to benefit testicular cancer. So it was called Jingle Balls because it saved the ball. So I do remember that. I think I just got something. I think it was The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score, I want to say. Literally, if I see an anthology or if I see a 99-cent Christmas book, I'm buying it.
Mate.
So I can't tell you the name, but I just love blowing through them all and experiencing new authors and different stories and tropes. And I love it.
Elle.
Well, I'm with Michele in that Little Women. I mean, it's not a Christmas story, but there are Christmas scenes. But also, Little House on the Prairie. They had a Christmas scene where they didn't have much, and I don't remember the names of the characters. I'm terrible. It's been so long. But there was the big guy that came in and he brought things for them, and it's just back to Jeannie's thought of hope, the hope for things to get better. And yeah, Little House on the Prairie just brought it all home to me, as well as Little Women. The warmth, the giving, they don't have much, but they give to others anyway. And I love that. And it just, those things are so Christmas to me.
Yeah, I love the anthologies like Kat mentioned, and I love the shared world series where everybody writes a book set in the same setting, but it's a Christmas book. So for me, some of the must reads are the Vale Valley series. Every year they come out with a new one around Christmas, and then some of the other holidays, and it's all set in the same world. And you'll see some of the characters from year to year, but they're fluffy and they're fun, and they're not very serious, but they're very Christmassy. And I actually tried that sort of thing last year with 7 other authors, where we did the same. We shared the same fictional castle, same ball, and all the special events, and did Christmas at Canham Castle, 7 separate stories, and that was a lot of fun to do as an author. But yeah, I just love the shared world stories where you get to experience that small town, and by the end of it, you feel like you've lived there. So, what are the must-see movies, TV specials? A couple of people have mentioned, some favorite episodes of series, but what are those things you gotta watch, either because you saw them as kids or they just hooked you as an adult? And I'm going to start with Kat this time.
I have 2 recommendations. One is very, very old, and one is very, very new. My very, very old one is in black and white. I believe it was filmed right after the end of World War II, I want to say. I mean, it features a soldier. It's Christmas in Connecticut. Barbara Stanwyck
Yes.
is a lifestyle maven who's faking it all. It's kind of a Martha Stewart, but she's fake, and she has to actually go to a farm in Connecticut and pretend to be this lifestyle maven that she is not. And she meets this sailor who is just off a boat, and of course falls in love with them, and it's just magical, and I love it. I rewatch that all the time. My new recommendation is a short limited series that's playing on Netflix called Dash and Lily, and it was based on a book. I believe it might be a YA book. The characters are very young; they're in high school, and the whole thing is filmed in New York City during the Christmas season, and most of it is filmed in the Strand bookstore, which is a magical place in its own right. And I was glued to the screen. I'm way too old to be, in love with something that was probably made for kids, but it's really very adult. I mean, they have a scavenger hunt through New York City, and they learn values, and I loved it. It's magical. Definitely check it out if you've got Netflix. Dash and Lily.
Elle.
My all-time favorite would have to be White Christmas. I love the military. Military is very near and dear to my heart. And when they come together to make that General's Inn come alive, I cry every time. It's just a wonderful story for me. Other have to see is The Holiday with Cameron Diaz, Jude Law, Jack Black, and Kate Winslet. I love that story. It's 2 different love stories at once. Yeah, hey, it's a great show. I highly recommend that one.
Jeannie.
I love It's a Wonderful Life. I watched it with my dad every year when I was growing up, so I have that memory to go along with it. And I just, like I said, I just love the idea that it shows how people affect one another, that you do matter. The smallest contribution, everybody matters. I love A Christmas Story. I just love the wackiness of it, the leg lamp, Fred Gile, and it must be Italian, and the crazy family that goes on, but yet they love each other. And then as far as anything favorite for the kids, I mean, I watch Charlie Brown Christmas every year. Absolutely love it. I see it's on. I have the DVD. I will watch it every year. I just love it. And then forget Hallmark. I'm just addicted. I can't. So.
Michele.
So we have the tradition of watching A Christmas Story every year on Christmas. And I also love the Christmas Vacation. That is one of our family favorites. I also like the little TV specials like A Charlie Brown Christmas or the original Grinch, or those ones like with Cold Miser and Heat Miser. I love having my kids watch those, and it just feels like, again, that sort of nostalgia of when I was growing up in the 70s. So they can appreciate it.
Cynthia?
You know, I'm going to go with Elle on White Christmas, but there was one that predates it called Holiday Inn. And that's really where the song White Christmas came from, and that's how the movie got developed. But Holiday Inn, and I've always thought that would make such a good setting for a series of books written by different authors. And the thought behind it is the inn only opens on holidays, and so everybody would go to celebrate their holidays, and so you'd have a holiday at the end. And so I loved that one. And you know, A Christmas Story, I never saw that until about a year ago. And guys, I'm in my 60s. I never saw that show. I don't know when it came out, but it totally bypassed my growing up days because I never saw that. But I saw all of the Charlie Browns and the Grinches, and I apologize for my assistant. He's very poorly behaved. And but yeah, I do. And yeah, Christmas Vacation. But I'm hooked on Hallmark. And the other day I was at Mother's hospital room, and she can't see to turn the TV very well. So I just put it on the Hallmark channel and left it. I guarantee when I go back on Thanksgiving, it's still going to be running the Hallmark channel. She'll never have changed. It'll still be running Hallmark Christmas movies. But I'll sit and watch Hallmark Christmas movies a lot. Sure will. Stop it.
Christy?
I got addicted to those years ago when I got bronchitis or pneumonia. I get them both all the time. And so I was in bed, too sick to read, which is, you know, super sick. And I just, like you said, it was on Hallmark for about 5.5 days straight, 24/7. And it opened my eyes to this whole genre. And then I was sad the next year when I didn't get sick and did not have an excuse to stay in my bedroom and watch them all. So I recorded some. And I mean, last year I got the flu and then bronchitis and did another whole round. And that's actually, I mean, it was one of I've looked, I can't find it. It's one of the very first days. So I had a super high fever, you know, could barely get out of bed to go to the bathroom. And I walked all the way down the hall to my office, grabbed a notebook and wrote down 2 sentences because the current Hallmark movie gave me the idea for what became this book like a month later when I started writing it. I loved it. But my, you're all romance writers, so you might join with me in this. They have one I don't like called Mistletoe Inn, which is about romance writers because I can't get past how much they got wrong about romance writers. In this story, they say that, you know, there's basically an RWA convention the first 2 weeks of December. I'm like, 9/10 of the people I know who are romance writers are moms. No mom is going to leave her family in December for 2 weeks to go do business. This is insane. So I couldn't get past how they got our genre wrong. And I was shocked because it's Hallmark. They should know better. But I love all the rest. I do quit my word count for the night and stop everything when the holiday comes on. As a performer, yeah, I can't choose between Holiday Inn or White Christmas, any movie musical, and I'm there for it. But the one I will add, Love Actually.
Yeah.
Oh, good, you're all nodding. I know there's
A couple of stories though I'm not sure about, but there's some
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but overall,
I do.
Warms your heart.
And
yeah, and I've got to toss. Now,
Grant,
somebody mentioned the. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Love Actually, Hugh Grant dancing through the Prime Minister's house. That
Yes,
that does it for you.
Yeah, I mean, somebody mentioned the original Grinch. I love that one. I grew up with it. But I think my two of my real favorites, one is the version of A Christmas Carol with George C. Scott. It's very serious. It's very dark. It's kind of creepy. It's very, very much what Dickens' story was. And then there's A Muppet Christmas Carol with Michael Caine playing it straight as all the other Muppets are around him. And the music is great. And who doesn't feel good when, you know, you've got all of that going on. So yeah. So we are actually coming up to the top of the hour. I want to make sure we go around again, let everybody know what your Christmas offering is, or what what your new book is, what's coming out soon, or what's on sale and what you want people to look at. Cynthia?
Oh, I knew you were going to call a man.
Start
Mine's
us
on the
off.
floor. Hold on. Christmas in his arms. 99 cents.
So it's a real Zoom meeting because you brought the cat. So that's
No, this is a dog.
good for you. Oh, it's a dog.
This is a 10-week-old Yorkie, and it's completely Elle's fault. And Elle and I do a writer's retreat every year, and we snuck her Yorkie into a no pet area. Shh, don't tell on us. But anyway, Christmas in his arms, I'm going to run it at 99 cents. And the other one I've got running this December, it's not Christmas, but it's Texas Two-Step. And it's the first in a series, a 9-book series, and it's free the whole month of December, just as a giveaway.
Awesome. Michele.
Cat.
So as I said earlier, I have two, The Merriest Magnolia and His Last Chance Christmas Family. And both of them are reunion romance and small towns and hopefully all the holiday feels.
Jeannie.
Oh, as I said, I have Christmas in Angel Harbor. It came out October 29th. It's a season romance, as I said. It's a small town, second chance, and it's actually set in a town right near where I live, and has several people in there that live in the town, a couple of townspeople, and they're all really excited about it. It's brand new, and my next book that I'm working on, which will come out next year, is another Christmas book. So in my Compass Cove series. So
Very cool. Cat.
Okay, so my two Christmas offerings for this year are both steamy small town romance. Mr. Naughty just came out, and also Undercover Santa, and Undercover Santa is 99 cents. And since we're talking holidays, what I'm working on now is a Valentine's Day book, Hot Seal Heartbreaker. Cynthia was talking about shared worlds and holidays, and we actually do have a Hot Seal shared world that comes out, and next year is going to be focused on all holidays, and each author takes a different holiday, and my holiday is Valentine's Day, so I'm first up. So I am working on that now. Hot Seal Heartbreaker.
You got the best.
Nice.
Way to go. No other holiday is going to come as close.
I don't know.
How about you,
I
Elle?
think April Fool's Day. I mean, we could have some fun with that. Mine's Hot Seal Joker. So
Yep.
I'm lining up all the jokes that my husband plays on his brother. And I'll be doing those in the book. It's brothers. And so, yeah, it'll be fun. I think holidays will be fun.
How about you, Elle?
As far as those holidays go, I've got Independence Day, and mine will be suspense. But yeah, I'm picturing Carrie Underwood. Was it Carrie Underwood that wrote? Oh no,
Independence song,
that
yeah.
did the song where he's burning it down and it's Independence Day. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. But as far as Christmas holidays, again, Dog Days of Christmas will come out right after the Dog Tags comes down. But if you want to get it while Dog Tags is out, which will come down shortly, you can do it with the anthology. And I've also got a short story anthology that will come out just shortly after the Dog Days of Christmas. That is a lot of short stories about, it's called Love and Such. And there are 2 Christmas stories in there as well. So it's kind of fun, just short beignets.
Nice. Christy?
So I'm going to start you cheap and work your way up. 99 cents for Ask Her at Christmas, which is a guy who asks his best friend to help him plan the proposal for the woman he's stuck proposing to. Spoiler, doesn't work out, but lots of fun proposal ideas in the city of Chicago. Also 99 cents, Tinsel My Heart, where, as I think somebody mentioned, we've got somebody putting on a big Christmas show, but the director they bring in to save it, total Grinch, hates everything about Christmas. And it's a second chance with a friend that turns into something more. And then if after that, I've convinced you that you might want to spend real money on me, this year's brand new Christmas book is The Magic of Christmas. It's 2 rivals up for the same promotion, sent to a Christmas adventure theme park and resort to battle it out for who comes up with the very best advertising idea to save it. There's snow, there's a cute dog. It's super fun.
I'm betting the dog isn't as cute as Henry.
And
No,
Mike,
of course not. This is Henry, and he's 10 weeks this week, and he's a Yorkie.
But I did have my dad name the dog because he's always wanted
so
one. He
adorable.
can't have one, so I figured that was the least I could give him.
What did you name him? The dog.
Fritz.
Fritz.
Fritz the boxer.
That was my second choice. Fritz was one of my names for this one I didn't go with.
Well, then clearly you need to read my book.
Oh yeah, obviously. I will, actually.
And my Christmas ones are Lucky Town and Dark Rivers with under my Morgan Bryce name, as well as Christmas at Canham Castle, which is a anthology, same fictional castle, 7 romance authors, and lots and lots of steamy fun. Folks, thank you so much for being with us today, for
Thank you,
talking
Beth.
about holiday romance and getting everybody in the spirit. I appreciate all of you being here and telling us all about the wonderful books. And to all of our viewers, thank you so much for being here with us in continual over the holidays. Stick with us. We've got a lot more great holiday romance and holiday programming coming your way. And if you've liked what you've seen, please share and like and tell your friends. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.